Marcus worked as a janitor in one of the tallest office buildings in the city. He had worked there for many years. Every morning he arrived early before anyone else, carrying his broom and cleaning supplies. The hallways were quiet and the sunlight poured through the big glass windows. Marcus moved slowly but carefully, making sure every floor was clean, every desk area neat, and every trash bin emptied. People rarely noticed him. He was quiet, humble, and preferred it that way. Even though Marcus worked a simple job, he had a sharp mind. He loved to read and learn whenever he had free time. He often borrowed books from the library and spent evenings studying different subjects. He liked to know about the world, about people, and about justice. Marcus believed that everyone deserved fairness, no matter who they were. One bright morning, Marcus was taking his usual break in the small break room. He poured himself a cup of tea and turned on the small television. The news was on and the reporter's voice was serious. Marcus listened carefully. A wealthy businessman named Mr. Thomas Parker was in trouble. He had been accused of fraud, and the shocking part was that his lawyer had abandoned him in court. Marcus watched the video as Mr. Parker looked confused, worried, and completely alone. Reporters surrounded him, asking questions, and cameras clicked everywhere. Marcus felt a strange feeling in his chest. He didn't know Mr. Parker personally. He had never met him before, but seeing a man left alone in such a difficult situation struck something inside Marcus. He felt sadness for Mr. Parker and a strong desire to help him. Marcus leaned back in his chair and thought to himself, "No one should face a problem alone. No one should feel abandoned. I have to do something." The news kept playing, showing Mr. Parker trying to answer questions while looking anxious. People were talking about how he had lost everything. His reputation, his business, and even the trust of others seemed to be slipping away. Marcus felt his hands tighten around his cup. He had always believed that every person deserved someone to stand with them, and right now Mr. Parker had no one. After finishing his tea, Marcus returned to his cleaning duties. He moved through the floors of the building, thinking deeply about what he had seen. The bright hallways and polished floors did not distract him. His mind was full of plans and ideas. "I don't know how I can help him," he thought, "but I will find a way." Later that day, Marcus stopped by the office entrance. He saw Mr. Parker's sleek car parked outside. He noticed the worried look on the man's face as he walked toward the building. The janitor's heart beat faster. He wanted to help, but he knew it would not be easy. Mr. Parker was rich and famous, and Marcus was just a janitor. Still, he could not ignore what he felt. Something inside him said that courage and loyalty were more important than fear or doubt. Marcus decided that he would try. He would find a way to speak to Mr. Parker. He would stand by him even when everyone else had turned away. Marcus believed that it did not matter who you were. What mattered was doing what was right. No matter how impossible it seemed, he would not let fear stop him. As the evening sun fell over the city, Marcus finished his work and paused for a moment. He looked at the large building, the place where he had spent so many years quietly cleaning and observing life. Tonight he knew that his life might change. He had never imagined that a simple janitor could make a difference in someone's life, but something deep inside told him that he could. Marcus felt a mix of nervousness and excitement. For the first time in a long while, he felt ready to step into a challenge that could change everything. The next morning, Marcus woke up with determination. He had spent the night thinking about what he could do to help Mr. Parker. He knew it would not be easy. After all, he was just a janitor, and the man he wanted to help was one of the richest people in the city. But Marcus believed that courage did not depend on wealth or status. It depended on heart and will. Marcus arrived at the office building earlier than usual. He carried his cleaning supplies, but this time his mind was focused on something else. He wanted to find a way to speak to Mr. Parker. He did not know what he would say, but he knew that staying silent would not help anyone. When Mr. Parker entered the building, Marcus waited near the reception area. The billionaire looked tired and worried. His suit was neat, but his eyes showed stress. Marcus approached him carefully, trying to appear calm and respectful. "Excuse me, sir," Marcus said politely. "My name is Marcus. I work here as a janitor. I saw what happened in court, and I think I might be able to help you." Mr. Parker stopped walking and looked at him with surprise. "You help me?" "I do not know you," he said, his voice cautious. Marcus nodded. "I know. But I saw you alone yesterday, and I thought no one should face something like that alone. I cannot be your lawyer, but I can stand by you. learn, and help you in any way I can." For a moment, Mr. Parker did not speak. He was silent, studying Marcus carefully. He had been let down by his own lawyer, and now a stranger was offering help. It was unusual, and he felt unsure, but there was something about Marcus's calm and steady manner that gave him hope. "Very well," Mr. Parker said finally. "I will give you a chance, but you need to understand. The courtroom is not simple. There are rules, laws, and procedures. If you make a mistake, it could hurt me." Marcus smiled gently. "I understand. I will learn. I promise to do my best." Over the next few days, Marcus threw himself into learning everything he could about Mr. Parker's case. He went to the building's small library and read books on law, legal procedures, and courtroom behavior. He carefully studied documents that Mr. Parker allowed him to see. He asked questions, took notes, and practiced explaining what he had learned. Marcus's dedication surprised Mr. Parker. He had expected someone who only wanted to help with small things, like carrying papers or delivering messages, but Marcus studied late into the night, memorizing facts, understanding the evidence, and thinking of ways to explain it clearly. Even the other employees noticed Marcus's unusual behavior. Some whispered among themselves, smiling or shaking their heads. "Marcus, a janitor helping a billionaire? That will never work," they said. But Marcus did not care about their opinions. He only cared about doing the right thing. Mr. Parker began to trust Marcus more each day. He admired the janitor's intelligence, courage, and commitment. There was no arrogance in Marcus. He did not care about money or fame. All he cared about was justice and helping someone in need. For Mr. Parker, this was a new and powerful feeling. He realized that true loyalty and bravery could come from the most unexpected people. One evening, Marcus stayed after hours, sitting at a large wooden table in Mr. Parker's office. He organized files, highlighted important facts, and prepared questions he might ask in court. Mr. Parker watched him quietly, impressed by his focus. "You know, Marcus," Mr. Parker said, "I never thought someone like you could make a real difference in my life. You are serious, brave, and smart. I feel safer with you by my side." Marcus looked up and smiled. "I am here because it is the right thing to do. We all deserve someone to stand with us when we are alone. That is all that matters." As the night fell and the city lights glowed through the office windows, Marcus felt a sense of purpose, stronger than ever before. He was no longer just a janitor. He was someone willing to face challenges for the sake of fairness and justice. And for Mr. Parker, he would be a friend, a helper, and a protector when no one else would stand beside him. The next morning, Marcus arrived even earlier than usual. His plan was clear. He would continue learning everything he could about Mr. Parker's case. He walked through the tall, quiet hallways of the building, carrying his cleaning supplies but thinking only about the challenge ahead. Every step reminded him that today could be another step closer to helping someone in need. Mr. Parker entered the building a little later than usual. He looked more confident than the previous days. The trust he had begun to feel toward Marcus was growing stronger. He had seen the janitor's dedication, and it impressed him deeply. It was unusual to see someone so humble yet so determined. He wondered how many people in the world could act with such courage without expecting anything in return. "Good morning, sir," Marcus said politely as he approached Mr. Parker's office. "I reviewed the documents you shared yesterday. I have some questions and some observations. If you have time, I would like to discuss them." Mr. Parker nodded. "Of course, Marcus. Let's go over everything. I want to understand what you think." They sat together at a large table, papers spread out between them. Marcus asked questions carefully, making sure he understood every detail. He pointed out small inconsistencies and gaps in the evidence. Mr. Parker listened carefully, surprised by how clearly Marcus explained each point. The janitor had no formal legal training, yet he had an eye for details and a mind capable of understanding complex matters. "I did not know anyone could notice these things so quickly," Mr. Parker said. "Your observations are helpful." "I wish my lawyer had cared this much," Marcus smiled politely. "It is never too late to make a difference. I want to do everything I can to help you. Even small details can matter a lot in court." For the next several days, Marcus spent almost every free moment studying the case. He visited the building's small law library and read more about courtroom procedures, how lawyers presented arguments, and the ways evidence could be explained clearly. He practiced speaking aloud, imagining he was in the courtroom, presenting facts in a calm and confident manner. Meanwhile, Mr. Parker observed Marcus's dedication with admiration. He had seen people around him who were only interested in money, status, or personal gain. Marcus was different. He did not ask for any payment or reward. He did not care about fame or recognition. He only wanted to stand by someone who had been abandoned. This loyalty touched Mr. Parker in a way he could not explain. Other employees in the building started noticing Marcus's unusual focus. Some whispered among themselves, curious about what he was doing. Marcus? Helping a billionaire with his court case? That seems impossible, they said. Others smiled quietly, impressed by his determination. But Marcus ignored the whispers. He was not doing this for attention. He was doing it because he knew it was the right thing to do. Late in the evenings, when the building was almost empty, Marcus continued his preparations. He highlighted important points, created simple notes, and rehearsed what he would say if he had to speak in court. He imagined questions the opposing counsel might ask and thought of clear, calm responses. One night, Mr. Parker stayed with him, watching quietly. "You are working very hard," he said. "I did not expect someone like you to be this determined. I am starting to believe we might have a chance in court because of you." Marcus looked up, his eyes steady. "I will do my best, sir. That is all I can promise. But I believe that fairness and truth are on your side. That is important." As the city lights glowed through the windows, Marcus felt a growing sense of confidence. He was no longer only a janitor. He was preparing to face challenges that seemed impossible to others. He knew that with patience, focus, and courage, he could help Mr. Parker stand strong in court. And for Mr. Parker, this simple janitor had become a source of hope and support unlike anything he had expected. For the first time, Marcus felt that his life had a new purpose. His days of quiet work and observation had led him to something greater. He was ready to face whatever came next, knowing that loyalty, courage, and honesty could change a life. And for one man in trouble, Marcus was determined to make all the difference he could. Finally, the day came for the next court hearing. Marcus and Mr. Parker arrived early at the courthouse. The building was large and filled with people dressed in suits and uniforms. Reporters crowded near the entrance, holding cameras and microphones. The whispers of curiosity and surprise followed them wherever they went. Many people could not believe that a janitor was standing beside a billionaire to help in a court case. Marcus remained calm, his mind focused. He had spent weeks preparing, studying the documents, memorizing facts, and practicing how to present arguments clearly. He knew that the courtroom would be intimidating, but he reminded himself that courage was more important than fear. Mr. Parker felt nervous, but seeing Marcus's steady presence gave him a sense of hope he had not felt in days. He had been abandoned by his lawyer, and the courtroom was full of strangers ready to see him fail. But Marcus did not seem afraid. His calm, confident manner reminded Mr. Parker that he was not completely alone. As they entered the courtroom, the atmosphere changed. People stared, some whispering and exchanging surprised glances. The judge, a serious-looking man with glasses, glanced at them carefully. He raised an eyebrow, clearly surprised to see Marcus standing beside Mr. Parker. "Mr. Parker, who is this with you?" the judge asked politely. "This is Marcus, Your Honor," Mr. Parker replied. "He has been helping me prepare for this case and will speak on my behalf today." The judge nodded slowly, allowing Marcus to proceed. Marcus took a deep breath, straightened his posture, and began speaking. His voice was calm, clear, and firm. "Your Honor, my client is innocent. The evidence presented so far has been misrepresented. I have reviewed the facts carefully, and I am here to explain the truth of the matter." At first, the courtroom was quiet. People were skeptical, not sure what to expect from a janitor defending a billionaire. But as Marcus spoke, presenting facts and pointing out inconsistencies in the opposing side's arguments, the room began to listen. He explained each point simply, using clear examples, and did not rush. His respect for the court and his careful explanation made the audience take notice. The opposing counsel, a confident lawyer, frowned. He tried to interrupt, but Marcus calmly responded to each question, showing evidence and details that supported Mr. Parker's innocence. Even the judge leaned forward, paying attention to the clear and logical way Marcus presented the case. Mr. Parker watched in amazement. He had never imagined that a janitor could speak so confidently and handle such a difficult situation. Every word Marcus said gave him hope. and reminded him that someone cared enough to stand by him when no one else would. Throughout the morning, Marcus continued to explain the case. He carefully pointed out mistakes in the evidence, questioned assumptions, and showed the true facts behind every accusation. Each point was precise, and every statement was backed by clear reasoning. The room began to change from doubt to respect. People who had expected to see failure were now surprised by Marcus's intelligence and dedication. During a short break, Mr. Parker whispered to Marcus, "You are doing something I never thought possible." "I cannot believe how prepared and confident you are," Marcus smiled quietly. "I told you, sir, I am here because it is the right thing to do. Everyone deserves someone to stand with them when they are alone. That is all that matters." After the break, the hearing resumed and Marcus continued to speak, addressing even the toughest questions from the opposing counsel. His clear, honest, and respectful approach left a strong impression on the court. Slowly, the momentum of the case began to shift in favor of Mr. Parker. By the end of the day, Marcus had presented all the evidence he could find, explained every important fact, and responded to every question calmly. The courtroom was quiet, full of people who were beginning to respect the courage and intelligence of a man who no one expected to make a difference. For Mr. Parker, this day was the first step toward hope and justice, all because Marcus, the janitor, had decided to stand by him when no one else would. The next day in court, the tension was stronger than ever. Marcus arrived early with Mr. Parker, both of them carrying folders filled with notes and documents. The courtroom was crowded, and the murmurs of curiosity and disbelief filled the air. Many people could not believe that a janitor had the courage to defend a billionaire in front of such an important audience. Marcus felt calm. He had prepared carefully for every possible question, every challenge. He knew the stakes were high, but he reminded himself that fairness and truth were on their side. Mr. Parker, though nervous, felt stronger with Marcus beside him. For the first time in days, he had hope that justice might truly be possible. The hearing began, and Marcus immediately focused on the points that could change the case. He spoke clearly and politely, presenting the facts that proved Mr. Parker had acted honestly in all his business dealings. He explained details about contracts, transactions, and timelines. The words were simple but powerful. Every point he made built confidence in the courtroom. The opposing counsel tried to interrupt him, pointing out errors and questioning his authority. Marcus remained calm and responded with clear explanations. He showed documents and evidence that the lawyer had overlooked. With each fact, he pointed out mistakes in the opposing side's argument, highlighting gaps and weaknesses. People in the courtroom started to whisper. They had expected to see a man fail, but now they were surprised by Marcus's knowledge and confidence. Even the judge leaned forward, listening carefully to every word. The audience began to realize that Marcus was not just a janitor. He was someone who had studied hard and understood the truth. Mr. Parker watched silently, amazed. He had never expected such courage and intelligence from someone outside the legal profession. Every question Marcus answered with calm reasoning gave him hope. He felt grateful for Marcus's dedication, knowing that this janitor had spent hours studying and preparing, all to stand by him when others had abandoned him. As the day progressed, Marcus noticed a critical weakness in the opposing counsel's case. There was a missing document that could change the outcome entirely. Marcus quickly signaled to Mr. Parker, and together they highlighted the missing evidence. The judge paused to examine the files carefully. Even the opposing counsel looked surprised, realizing that their argument had overlooked something important. Marcus continued to question witnesses politely but firmly. He asked about facts that were inconsistent, pointing out contradictions in their statements. His clear and logical approach gradually changed the mood in the courtroom. People who had doubted him now listened with respect. The room began to shift from doubt to attention, and the tension slowly turned in favor of Mr. Parker. During a short break, Mr. Parker whispered to Marcus, "You are incredible. I cannot believe how clearly you explain everything. You are giving me hope when I thought all was lost." Marcus smiled quietly. "I promise to stand with you, sir. I am doing only what is right. The truth matters more than anything else." When the hearing resumed, Marcus presented the final points that would prove Mr. Parker's innocence. He summarized the evidence, explained the errors in the opposing side's case, and highlighted facts that had been ignored. Each word was calm and precise, Every gesture showed respect for the court, and his honesty made an impression on everyone present. By the end of the day, Marcus had completely shifted the momentum of the case. The courtroom was quiet, the atmosphere tense, but the people were beginning to see that Mr. Parker's innocence was clear. The opposing counsel had no strong arguments left, and Marcus's careful, methodical approach had uncovered every flaw. Outside the courtroom, reporters whispered among themselves, amazed by the unusual partnership between the billionaire and the janitor. Many described Marcus as a symbol of courage, loyalty, and intelligence. For Mr. Parker, it was more than admiration. It was relief, gratitude, and hope. Marcus returned to Mr. Parker's side, still humble and quiet. He knew that the final decision was not yet made, but he also knew they had done everything possible to ensure the truth would be seen. And for the first time, Mr. Parker felt that justice could truly be on his side. The day after the intense courtroom session, Marcus and Mr. Parker stepped outside into the warm sunlight. The city was alive with its usual energy, cars honking, people walking briskly, and the distant hum of conversations. But for Marcus and Mr. Parker, the world felt quieter, almost calm. They had survived another challenging day in court, and the results were encouraging. Mr. Parker turned to Marcus, a mixture of relief and admiration on his face. "Marcus, I don't know how to thank you," he said. "You have been by my side when no one else would. You believed in me when everyone else abandoned me. I feel like you saved me." Marcus shook his head gently, his expression humble. "I didn't save you, sir. I just stood by you. Everyone deserves someone to be with them when they are alone. That is all I did." Mr. Parker smiled, but the gratitude in his eyes was clear. He had faced doubt, fear, and loneliness in court. And now, for the first time, he felt a real sense of hope. Marcus's support was not just helpful, it was inspiring. Over the next few days, news of Marcus's courage began to spread. Reporters and bystanders were talking about the janitor who had stood beside a billionaire in court. People admired his dedication, intelligence, and loyalty. Social media shared stories and pictures, praising a man who had shown that courage and goodness could come from the most unexpected places. Despite the attention, Marcus remained humble. He continued his daily routine, sweeping floors, emptying trash, and cleaning hallways, but now he carried a quiet pride in his heart. He knew he had made a difference, and that was enough. Fame or recognition had never been his goal. Helping Mr. Parker had been its own reward. Mr. Parker, on the other hand, could not stop thinking about Marcus. He began to see that bravery and loyalty were not measured by wealth or status. Marcus, a man with a simple job, had shown qualities that many wealthy and educated people lacked. His courage, patience, and commitment had changed the course of the trial and restored hope in a situation that seemed hopeless. One afternoon, Mr. Parker invited Marcus to his office after work. He wanted to talk to him privately. Marcus entered, carrying his cleaning supplies, and noticed the seriousness in Mr. Parker's expression. "Marcus," Mr. Parker began, "I have been thinking about what you have done for me. Your dedication and intelligence are remarkable. I want to offer you opportunities that you may have never imagined. But I also understand if you prefer your simple life." Marcus smiled softly. "Thank you, sir. I appreciate the offer, but I am happy with my work. I enjoy helping people in my own way. My life may be simple, but it is enough. I just wanted to do the right thing for you." Mr. Parker was touched by his words. "You are extraordinary, Marcus. Few people would do what you did. I will never forget this. You have my deepest respect and gratitude." In the following days, the courtroom sessions continued. Marcus remained by Mr. Parker's side, quietly observing and providing support. His presence was calming for Mr. Parker. Every time he looked at Marcus, he felt confidence and reassurance. Marcus's loyalty had become a shield, protecting him from fear and doubt. Outside the courthouse, more people began to notice Marcus's courage. Passers-by smiled, reporters whispered stories, and colleagues spoke with admiration. Marcus's actions became a symbol of hope, courage, and integrity. For many, it was a reminder that true bravery is not measured by titles or money, but by the willingness to stand with others in their time of need. As the sun set over the city, Marcus returned to his routine tasks in the office building. He swept the floors with steady hands and cleaned the hallways with quiet pride. Inside, he felt a deep satisfaction. He had done something important, something that mattered. He had helped a man in need, and in doing so, he had shown that courage, loyalty, and honesty could come from anyone, anywhere. For Mr. Parker, Marcus's actions were more than help. They were life-changing. And for Marcus, the simple act of standing by someone in need had proven that even a humble janitor could make a remarkable difference in the world. The day of the final court hearing arrived. The city outside was alive with noise, but inside the courthouse, tension filled the air. Reporters crowded the entrance, their cameras flashing and microphones ready. People whispered in amazement, still talking about the janitor who had bravely stood beside a billionaire for weeks. Marcus, however, remained calm. He had prepared for this day for many hours, and his focus was entirely on helping Mr. Parker. Mr. Parker felt nervous. He had faced doubt, fear, and abandonment in the past days. But when he looked at Marcus, he felt a sense of calm he had not felt in weeks. The janitor's quiet confidence reminded him that he was not alone, and that someone truly cared about justice and truth. The judge entered, and the courtroom grew silent. Marcus stood beside Mr. Parker, holding the carefully organized folders and notes he had prepared. The opposing counsel looked tense, realizing that Marcus had studied every detail and was ready to present a strong argument. "Your Honor," Marcus began, his voice steady and clear, "I am here to present the facts as they truly are. My client, Mr. Parker, has acted with honesty and integrity in every matter. The evidence presented against him has been incomplete and misrepresented." As he spoke, Marcus presented each piece of evidence carefully. He showed contracts, emails, and financial records that proved Mr. Parker's innocence. He explained each detail simply and clearly, so that anyone listening could understand. The courtroom grew quiet, every person paying attention to the janitor who spoke with the authority of someone who had studied hard and understood the truth. The opposing counsel tried to interrupt, questioning Marcus's authority and experience. Marcus responded politely but firmly. He explained that while he was not a professional lawyer, he had spent weeks studying the case, reviewing every document, and preparing carefully to present the truth. His calm and honest manner impressed the judge and the audience. As the hearing continued, Marcus noticed several weaknesses in the opposing side's argument. He pointed out contradictions in witness statements and highlighted errors in the evidence. Each time he spoke, the strength of Mr. Parker's case became clearer. The judge listened carefully, nodding slightly as Marcus explained the details. Mr. Parker watched silently, amazed and grateful. He had never imagined that a janitor could handle such a complex and important task. Every word Marcus spoke gave him hope and renewed confidence. Marcus's dedication and courage had become a shield, protecting him from the fear and doubt that had haunted him. After a short break, Marcus continued. He summarized all the key points, reminding the court of the truth behind each accusation. He emphasized that Mr. Parker had acted honestly, and that the evidence against him was flawed. His words were simple but powerful, and the courtroom responded with quiet attention. By the end of the day, Marcus had presented every argument he could. The courtroom was silent, full of people who had been convinced by his clarity, honesty, and courage. The opposing counsel had no strong points left, and Marcus's careful preparation had exposed every weakness. Outside the courtroom, reporters whispered and exchanged amazed glances. People spoke of Marcus's bravery, intelligence, and loyalty. The story of a humble janitor standing by a billionaire had captured the city's attention, inspiring admiration and respect. Mr. Parker turned to Marcus, his eyes filled with gratitude. "You have done something extraordinary. I cannot imagine where I would be without your help. You believed in me when no one else did. I will never forget this." Marcus smiled humbly. "I did what anyone should do, sir. I only stood by you because it was the right thing. That is enough for me." As the sun set over the city, Marcus returned to his building. He continued his work as a janitor, cleaning floors and hallways, quietly proud of what he had accomplished. He had faced a challenge that seemed impossible, and had shown courage, loyalty, and intelligence. And for Mr. Parker, Marcus had become more than a helper. He had become a friend and a symbol of hope in the darkest times. The courtroom was filled with tension on the day of the final verdict. Marcus stood beside Mr. Parker, holding his folders and notes one last time. The weeks of preparation, study, and dedication had all led to this moment. The air was heavy with anticipation, and the eyes of everyone in the room were fixed on the judge. Mr. Parker's hands were slightly trembling. He had faced uncertainty, fear, and abandonment, but Marcus's calm presence gave him strength. The janitor had not only studied the case but had also been a source of courage and support. Every step, every argument, every carefully explained point had built hope where there had once been doubt. The judge adjusted his glasses and cleared his throat. After reviewing the evidence, hearing the arguments, and considering all facts, the court has reached a verdict. His voice echoed through the silent room. Every person leaned forward, waiting. Marcus felt his heart beat faster, but he remained composed. He had done everything he could. Now it was time for the truth to be recognized. Mr. Parker's eyes met his, filled with hope and trust. Marcus gave a small nod, silently reassuring him that whatever happened, he had given his best. The judge spoke clearly. "Mr. Parker, the court finds you not guilty of all charges. The evidence does not support the accusations, and the facts show that you acted honestly and with integrity in all matters." A wave of relief and joy swept through the room. Mr. Parker let out a deep breath, feeling the tension drain from his shoulders. He turned to Marcus and grasped his hands firmly. "You saved me," he said, his voice filled with gratitude. "You believed in me when no one else would." "I cannot thank you enough," Marcus smiled humbly. "I only stood by you, sir. I did what anyone should do. I'm glad the truth is clear now." Reporters quickly began writing their stories, capturing the incredible journey of a janitor who had defended a billionaire. People outside the courthouse were talking, amazed that someone so humble and ordinary could show such courage, intelligence, and loyalty. Marcus had become a symbol of hope, proving that bravery does not depend on wealth, title, or status. It comes from the heart. Over the next few days, Mr. Parker invited Marcus to his office. He offered him opportunities to advance his career, higher pay, and even positions that could change his life. But Marcus politely declined. He was happy with his simple work, finding satisfaction in helping people and doing what was right. Money and fame were never his goals. The pride in knowing he had made a difference was reward enough. Mr. Parker often spoke about Marcus to his friends and colleagues, sharing the story of loyalty, courage, and integrity. Marcus's actions inspired many people to stand by those who were abandoned, to act with honesty, and to have courage in difficult times. Life slowly returned to its normal rhythm. Marcus went back to the building, sweeping floors, cleaning hallways, and performing his duties with quiet pride. But now he walked with a deeper sense of purpose. He had faced a challenge that seemed impossible and had changed the course of someone's life. He had proven that even a humble janitor could make a remarkable difference. For Mr. Parker, Marcus was more than a helper. He was a friend and a reminder that true loyalty and courage could come from the most unexpected people. Their bond, formed under stress and uncertainty, was unbreakable. Mr. Parker learned to value people not for their status or wealth, but for their heart and actions. Marcus returned to his ordinary life, yet he carried an extraordinary story within him. A story of courage, honesty, and loyalty. A story that reminded everyone that helping others, standing by them when they are alone, and acting with integrity are the greatest strengths anyone can have. In the end, Marcus did not need recognition, awards, or riches. He had done the right thing, and that was enough. And for Mr. Parker, that simple act of loyalty had changed everything. A janitor had saved a life, defended the truth, and reminded the world that courage and goodness can come from the most unexpected places. The city continued its busy life, but the story of Marcus, the janitor who defended a billionaire, lived on. It became a lesson in bravery, integrity, and the power of standing by someone in their time of need. And Marcus, humble and strong, quietly returned to his work, knowing that sometimes the greatest victories come from doing the right thing when it matters most.